Salute. The streets are buzzing. Salute, everyone. Doing a chat show tonight. Just going to keep it chill, relaxed, bounce off the chat, talk about some of these things going on in the New York Knicks universe. I salute Geraldine. How are you doing tonight? The New York Knicks had a huge win last night at MSG against Boston. A lot to talk about. We didn't do a post game, but my partner in crime, Divine, did a nice recap video. Check that out on Knicks Real Talk. I just wanted to use this time to chat, bounce ideas, about trades, anything else coming up. Salute, Michael. Salute, fam. Hope you're well. These New York Knicks picked up a huge win, and of course they go one game under 500, 19-20. So there's a lot to talk about. Of course, the news on everyone's mouth is the Julius Randle situation. I'll give you my thoughts on that as well. The New York Knicks face a second game against Boston tomorrow in Beantown. It's going to be tough. It's going to be a big challenge. We're still riding high off the big win last night. But what's that going to mean? If the New York Knicks don't take care of business again tomorrow, we'll just go back to 2 games under. So, it's going to be critical. And we've got some injury report news to touch on about that as well. But of course, anything in the chat, throw questions at me, throw your thoughts as well. This is the chat show. Going to shout everyone out in the chat, shout out every single chat that comes through. And we're just going to relax and talk these Knicks. So, obviously, there's some other news happening. The New York Knicks have Ryan Arcidiacono have signed the backup point guard to a 10-day deal. Funnily enough, he is currently out, which does tell you or signifies that it's a longer-term move. You don't normally sign a 10-day guy that has an injury, but he has an ankle serious. Not serious, but an ankle complaint. I'm not sure how serious it is, but Ryan Arcidiacono played 4 years with Chicago. He's here to help, run the ship, back up Deuce McBride, back up quickly in case of an injury. He's capable, Ryan's serviceable. His games, he's a high intensity kind of guy. Will get up in you and defend. He can dribble the ball, run the team. He can run the pick and roll. He shoots 37% from 3 as well. So that's a good skill. That's very, very handy, for the New York Knicks to have. And let's wait and see what he can give. But he's a vet. Obviously, we know Leon Rose, Tom Thibodeau, they probably favored a vet presence, coming in with Kemba Walker, still day to day. That was some other news. Kemba Walker's diagnosis came through, which was no structural damage, which was good to hear. You always want, to see players with no serious injury. So Kemba's day to day. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens when Kemba Walker comes back. And obviously how often he can go. It's going to be frustrating for Tibbs if it's all season long. Kemba plays a game and then he's out, then he plays a game and then he's out again. That's going to be a big challenge for this team, which is why they also reached out to Ryan Arcidiacono, another vet. Some other injury news. Obviously, Damian Dotson is not with the team. I see. I'm not sure the reasoning for that, but Daniel House has left the team as well. I think he's signing with Utah. It was reported he's signing a 10-day deal with Utah. DeMarcus Cousins was let go by the Milwaukee Bucks this week, which was a surprising move. Let's see what happens with that. He's a free agent that's expected to have some interest, is DeMarcus Cousins. So, the New York Knicks, are they going to be interested in DeMarcus? Let me know what you guys think of that, because he is a vet. Obviously, Nerlens Noel is still out. No, he's been, cleared of the protocol, health and safety protocols. He's been back with the team, but he's not playing, obviously a conditioning reason probably still. But, to be honest, the center position doesn't appear to be solid at the moment, with players, Mitch and Noel, tend to have different niggling injuries, and different nagging injuries. So won't be surprised if they reach out to DeMarcus Cousins, another vet that can help out. Luka Samanic, was looking forward to seeing him ball out for Westchester. Unfortunately, he's out with a left heel injury. Not 100% sure if that's the same injury that, he's been nagging Luka for a little bit. Samanic has been, out for a little while, obviously 4 weeks. I dropped a video on his latest game. He came back for a game, lit it up, 26 points, 9 and 4 for Westchester in a loss to the Grand Rapids. But unfortunately tonight he's out with a left heel injury again. So prayers up for Luka Samanic. Hope it's nothing serious, just maybe rest. Hopefully, and let's see, because I think he will get called up in the second half of this season. Will Luka? He's definitely got potential. He's a young player. I missed this in my video, but he's 21 years old. For all the talk that RJ Barrett is 21 years old, which is such a bright future, people forget Luka Samanic, who's 21 years old as well. So hopefully we have a valuable contributor in him, coming up. Salute Jonovan, salute fam. Yes, indeed, the Knicks streets are buzzing. What are you thinking after the last night's win, everyone? Throw us some questions, throw your thoughts out there. I'm going to shout every chat out tonight. It's the chat show. We'll see how long it goes. But I'll just be talking about my thoughts on the Julius Randle situation, everything else happening in the Knick-verse. I touched on Damian Dotson's not with the team. There's been no word on his status. And Daniel House has left the team as well. We'll be looking ahead to some of the games coming up. Obviously, the trade period ends the first week of February. So we're going to hear some more rumors, some more news coming up. Obviously, the New York Knicks waived Wayne Selden as well to clear a spot to sign Ryan Arcidiacono as well. So the New York Knicks aren't hesitating; they're making moves. As things come, it's going to be one of those seasons where we're just going to take day at a time and react to what happens. The Kemba Walker thing, to be honest with me, I wasn't surprised one bit. The fact that he was playing 30, 35, 40 minutes for so many games, I only knew he could keep it up for so long because, he had 3 weeks off. When he came back, I thought, okay, he's going to light it up for a while, but the same degenerative knee issue, arthritis, is going to come back. And unfortunately, it did come back. So Kemba Walker's just day to day. Some positive news, it appears, on the Derrick Rose front. Derrick Rose has had successful surgery and he's going to commence rehab very soon, I believe next week. So Derrick Rose's rehab ahead of schedule from all indications. So what could that mean? Let's hope. Keep our finger on the pulse with that. Derrick Rose, the timeline given was 5 weeks or so, 5 to 6 weeks after the surgery. We never know in sports. Players heal quicker sometimes they take a little bit longer. From my history with ankle injuries, ankles can be pretty tricky. They can be, something that you tread lightly on, basically, with an ankle injury. When you're twisting and turning, like D Rose, his game's predicated on explosion, things like that. He is 33 years old, of course, but let's hope, speedy recovery, D Rose. It'd be a nice surprise to get him back sooner, but we can't rely on that. So with that said, Emmanuel quickly filled in admirably. I thought he changed the game last night in Boston with his tempo. It's quite clear that he tried to push the pace and he wanted to just get the ball up quick. And a couple of plays were critical when Evan Fournier hit the open three. It was because of Quickly's, dribbling up the court real quick, an outlet pass as well. So that was a really good floor game in the 25 minutes from Emmanuel Quickly. Of course, he's probably more suited in the backup role still. Salute Shah, salute fam. The chat show tonight, throw us any questions, thoughts, from the last night moving forward. But yeah, man, last night was exciting. Evan Fournier exploded, quickly played his role. RJ Barrett, what can you say? That 3-point shot, it was much needed. Just get the monkey off the back. And I think now RJ Barrett, I'm going to go out there and say RJ Barrett might be our best player for the rest of the season. I just got a feeling that the confidence, being able to hit that shot, 21 years old, we all growing up, we all dream of hitting a game winner, a buzzer beater at the MSG as a New York Knick as well. And RJ Barrett did that, 21 years old, that buzzer beater. He's got the monkey off the back. And now I think he's going to play smooth. He's going to play loose. He's going to play confident. His confidence is going to go up tenfold now. So I think look out for a big second half of the year for RJ Barrett. And of course, Julius Randle, he did step it up back and forth with the crowd, as you all know by now. Crowd were booing 25 points down. It wasn't a pretty sight. Fans have every right, first and foremost, my opinions on that. Fans have every right to boo. They pay their hard-earned money. They work hard Monday to Friday or whatever it may be. They go to the games with expectations. Julius Randle is our franchise player at the moment. Not saying the boos were maybe all on him, but they were booing the performance of the team. It wasn't going well. Julius plays with an emotion. He plays with a chip on his shoulder. Evan Fournier's quotes in the post game, Evan Fournier did say, Jules is an emotional player. And as a fan that's been watching him, in a Knick jersey, I know this. You see him go back and forth with referees all the time. Things get on his nerve. They irk him. He loses concentration at times. He can lose his focus on the game and complain to the referees. All indications are that he does have, somewhat a thinner skin as well. Now I completely understand, when your own fans are booing you, it's going to make you feel a certain type of way. I had no issue with what he said in the press conference at all. That didn't offend me whatsoever. You know what I mean? And I don't think he needed to apologize. However, I do think, the New York Knicks obviously, probably had a word to him. It wasn't the best look just to say the way he said it, I guess. Not necessarily saying the F word, but, I guess just going straight back at the reporter with that 3-word answer, maybe giving it a little bit of context would have suited Julius in that instance, but he was clearly, heated. He was hyped up. And it's all well and good to take on the MVP chants and things when things are thriving. But when things aren't thriving, you've got to be prepared to take the criticism. You're getting paid the bag. And you got to take the criticism. Carmelo Anthony faced those same boos. Patrick Ewing did as well. Everyone else that's been, a New York Knicks player has been in a situation where they've heard those boos, and you can't let that take your focus, in the game as well. So I didn't think the thumbs downing thing was a good look. What he said in the press conference, had no issue with it. It didn't offend me. But I do think it's clear to see Julius Randle, from my perspective, has thin skin to be a star in New York. You've got to take the good with the bad, right? You've got to take the good with the bad. When you're not performing well, those boos are going to come, and you've just got to get used to it, right? So this whole thing was just an unnecessary distraction, I think. Unnecessary distraction. Now, you love your players to play with their heart on their sleeve, obviously, but within the control of the game. Shah Legacy. Evan was a demon last night. He was a man possessed, exactly. And he made a good comment post-game with some jokes there in there as well. But he looked relaxed. He looked happy that he put in that performance. And does this get the man going? Shah, do you think this helps Evan Fournier get going? Or do you think it was just a Boston Celtics, get up revenge game for Evan? Because he's definitely had some good performances offensively, but not nearly consistent enough than what we need. But defensively, he obviously held his own, which is what was great to see. But his quotes, he sort of downplayed the fact that it's Boston that got him up. He said it was, it offered a little bit of more motivation for him. Obviously, a team that didn't want to pay him the amount of money the New York Knicks did. I got no problem with that. We just want to see him ball out like that every single game, right? You shouldn't need an excuse to be playing against, your former team, right? To put in that kind of performance, but he's a big game player. And of course, one of our regular panel members, KJ Dub, salute. He said, Evan will be a player for the playoffs, and I think Divine's also said that as well. Evan is a player that gets up for big games, but so far he hasn't really got up for some of those, regular games, right? He gets up for the big Olympic games. He's a big game player for France. We know that. And that's partly what Leon Rose probably was hoping, when he signed him. Salute Jonathan, believe it or not, but that was Julius Randle, best game on both sides of the floor. Yeah, I got to say, I think it's definitely up there for me too. Definitely within one of the top 2 or 3 performances. He definitely got that kick in the butt that got him going, got him juiced up. So let's hope he can continue, to use this fire, but in the right channel. The right channel. Salute D, salute fam. Throw any thoughts, questions at me. This is the chat show. Going to shout out every single chat. We're just discussing our thoughts, and chilling out tonight. Salute Lynn. Salute. Yeah, you want your team leaders to be mentally tough and focused on the task, winning games. Absolutely, you hit the nail with that one. Julius Randle, we all know what he's capable of as a player and ability wise. I guess a lot of the frustrations from what I've seen the fans have had with Julius is his mental approach. Inconsistencies throughout games. Falling asleep in one quarter, looking like the star player in the next quarter, and then I don't know what it is in terms of, do you need, we've talked about it before, but you need a solid vet point guard, I guess, to keep him in check, right? You need someone to keep him in check. There's no way he wiles out like that with a Chris Paul on the floor, or maybe Russell Westbrook or someone like a more vocal leader, because his body language, has sucked this season. And it's clear, obviously, some things have bothered him. Like last night, he couldn't keep his emotions in check. He plays with his heart on his sleeve. I got no problem, again, to reiterate what he said or what he did. He didn't need to apologize. However, I don't think yet what he said in the press conference or the thumbs down thing was a good look. It's just an unnecessary distraction. I think, Julius has got thin skin for New York. He's always arguing with the referees, always going back and forth with little things throughout the game that annoy him. And I think, if I'm a player on the court, I'm just pulling him aside to say, no, we need some other leaders to step up. Taj Gibson at the moment, Derrick Rose is a quiet leader, so he's never going to do that. You need Taj Gibson to pull him aside. And I think this hasn't been said enough, but there was a game when, in the chat, you need to help me out with this. There was a game where Julius got a tech, right? It was a tech at the very end of a game, and it had a significant impact as well. He was chirping with the refs, and he got us a tech, and that was all blown over because that game's finished. But that's not spoken of enough too. So he definitely is arguing with the refs, hasn't helped. And salute Knicks 100 a game. Yet Randle disrespected New York by wearing Cowboys gear. Now he told us, to F off. You got to go. Yeah, I can understand where you're coming from. As passionate fans, we want our players to embrace us, as fans. I was just more disappointed. Like I said earlier, the fans pay their way to the games, right? You may travel from around the globe. There's tourists, there's diehard New Yorkers at heart. There's everyone in that arena, and they deserve to be able to express their opinions at the game. If everyone's booing, it's normally collective boos as well. And, he shouldn't be feeling some type of way about it. He just shouldn't. It's a sport. I follow soccer, I follow football, I follow all sports, tennis, and you get players booing. That's a fact, right? I mean, so you get fans booing you. Doesn't matter what sport. It's just basketball. The fans are so close to the arena. Now, if they're saying things about your family, personal stuff, that's not on. That's definitely a breach of the the spectator rules and things like that. I'm against that. If you said anything personal, then definitely a player has a right to to get upset. But just general boos, no, I don't think that should bother you. Salute P Nice, salute fam, salute, salute Sharp Hours, salute. Big win last night. Can we back it up tomorrow in Boston? Shah Legacy, you think Boston can help us unlock Evan? Yep, definitely. I'm hoping from last night, and you can't wait to see how he responds against them tomorrow again. Yeah, it's going to be no coincidence or no fluke, right, Shah? If he comes out and puts up another 30 piece tomorrow night, it's going to be crazy. It's going to be, can we please play Boston every night? But also he should be one of the Knicks that feel the most comfortable in the arena tomorrow night, having played there, played some playoff games for Boston as well. And just on that note, I think tomorrow night's game is going to be the biggest mental test of this team. We know ability-wise, we can beat Boston. We had their measure last night, But tomorrow night is going to be more of a mental challenge going into that building. Second game of a back-to-back against the same team. Can the New York Knicks show mental fortitude? Can they put all this distraction with Randle aside and just go out on the road and get to 500? Too, that's another significant part of tomorrow's game. We don't want to fall back to 2 games under 500 again. With more tougher games coming up, it will be a chance to go back to 500. So let's keep an eye out for that, Shah. Jonathan, hopefully we play Boston again next. Maybe Fournier will be trending in the right direction. Yep, definitely. Tomorrow night's another let's see. P nice. Tibbs is scared of him. Is that with Randle? Yeah, in terms of reprimanding him. I think Tibbs is scared because he knows the roster's not as deep as he would like, and I think he doesn't. Well, he might be scared to lose his most trusted player as well. But it's unfortunate if that's the case because they're all men getting paid to do the role. This is New York City. If you succeed here, you can succeed anywhere, and it just helps me appreciate some of the stars of the past. To be honest with you, you might have not been a fan of Amari or Melo, Pat Ewing, whoever it may be, Marbury, but there were some stars that came here and handled themselves pretty well with all the losing, all the fans heckling, things like that. Now, for this team to go to the next level, the most concerning thing is, Julius is in the first year of that extension. The extension doesn't start till next season, so 5 more years of Julius. Hopefully this is just a blip of the radar. The team, he just needs to get on with the job at hand and getting this team back into the playoffs for the second year in a row. Right, we've also seen him have an on-court blow-up with he's had an on-court blow-up with Evan Fournier too. So Julius Randle, he's all good to pull other guys aside and give him the business, but who's going to hold him accountable on the court, right? His body language is the main thing. I know players go through ups and downs in terms of their performance, but the biggest issue I've had with Julius has just been his inconsistency and his body language and his effort on defense as well, which is most of the same gripes that the fans have had this season. Last year in the contract year, he played like a man possessed. He played his career best defense. And that was a contract year, so. A lot of people are saying it was a fluke with the shooting as well, empty arenas. This is Julius's chance to come out this year and just to prove all the doubters wrong, right? He's the reigning most improved player. You could come in and have a great season this season and just prove everybody wrong, prove that last year wasn't a fluke, right? So I know this season hasn't gone according to plan. Last night happened. Let's hope that we just put it past us and move forward. For the rest of the season. And if Julius balls out, I think all will be forgiven. Jonathan, let's blow them out because you have work tomorrow and you won't see the game, but you'll be following and listening. Yeah, I appreciate that. Have a good day at work. But I'm confident the New York Knicks will put in a good performance. I just hope, we come away with the dub, and we get back-to-back wins. And P nice facts. Melo did never complain, right? And I was talking this with Berman about his interviews at the locker room, and Berman always, throwing the hard questions. Back then Frankie Isola was there. Tina Savasio. Melo faced some difficult post game interviews, and he handled himself, in the right manner, and he brushed things off. It's all media training too. Sometimes maybe Julius might need some more media training. If you're frustrated, and something's bothering you, keep it to yourself, put an Instagram post out there or something, a big up OC, big up. Hope you're well, fam. Yep. On the road to 500. Let's get it. We need it. Hope you're well, fam. It's been a while. Salute David. Salute, fam. Salute. Knicks buzz. Yep. We are buzzing off a big win last night. Boston again tomorrow. It's going to be a huge game. I'm not sure if it's national televised. Salute Sherwin. Let me know, chat. Is tomorrow night national televised again, or do we get MSG networks back? MSG networks, would have loved to hear Clyde and Breen call the RJ buzzer beater. We deserve that as fans. It's been so many games, so many opponents put buzzer beaters on us. To hear Breen call that last night would have been on another level. But shout out to Brian Anderson. I think that was a pretty good call. He did that justice. He did RJ Barrett's buzzer beater justice. It just would have been nice to hear Breen, yell out that bang, and then Clyde go off his tree as well. Yeah, we did it on national TV. Yeah, exactly. So Knicks 100 definitely wants to see Randle out. Yeah, so there's going to be fans that still have that taste in their mouth with Randle. Salute Ron and John, still Knicks fam. Salute. Hope you're well. And David, speaking of Berman, was it a coincidence that Berman put out an article about the Knicks could have had DeRozan the day before they force-fed Fournier? Luckily, he came through. Yeah, look, definitely a few coincidences, out there. But I think the pressure was mounting on Fournier. Pressure's mounting on Julius, right? They needed that win last night. It wasn't a pretty sight. I must admit, being down 25, my hopes of winning the game weren't high. Boston are a mess at the moment. They're in trouble. And their coach called them out for being mentally weak. And I think, you have to blow that kind of game. I didn't think the Knicks played the best game to get back into it. They just gradually started hitting some shots. Boston just went straight isolation all the time. That's what's going to happen when you keep hitting threes like at the rate they were in the first half. I'm like, that's not going to continue. So the New York Knicks slowly and gradually got the right five on the court, quickly helped push the pace a bit more. Taj was enormous. Taj's energy and rotations and battling for rebounds. Same with Mitch. We had so many second chance opportunities with rebounds, Robert Williams obviously was a demon on the glass, blocking shots, all of that. Shout out to Mark as well. Salute. It's on MSG NBA TV. Appreciate you, D. Cool. It's going to be great, and all eyes are going to be on it tomorrow night. Imagine if Fournier just comes out and does it again, because they're going to look for him, right? He's got that shooting touch. Maybe he's just hitting his straps. He's in form now, and maybe it is Boston's game to get us back, in terms of Fournier clicking to what why we brought him in. I'm still not a fan of his overall game, but in terms of Fournier's overall game, he's not a strong defender at all, but he needs to continue to give us that offensive output for this team to be good. And Lynn, IQ was solid last night. So many big buckets. Definitely that banker, that was great. The three where he was fouled, it was probably a continuation play. He should have been given that and one, I thought. He did try to sort of move back and manipulate a bit, but Schroeder was in IQ's space, and I think that should have been an and one. Sherwin, he's a big Randle supporter. Please don't bash Randle for doing the right thing. If you boo me, infant of my wife and son, I will do worse. Yet the only thing he did wrong to him is apologize. Yet booing because they want Obi is dumb. Okay. Yeah, look, definitely everyone's entitled to their opinion. And like I said, if fans will ever get personal with it, I'm against that as well. I'm against, fans crossing the line. If it's just straight booing, I'm okay with that as well. I'm okay with fans just booing. Julius Randle, it's not always a bad thing when a player plays with passion and fire and desire and things like that. It's just channeling that, channeling it when the game's on, and keeping your head in the game as best you can. Like I said, I don't have any issue with what Julius did last night at all. It didn't affect me, didn't bother me. I thought he just could have handled the media, the post-game a bit different, put some more context into how he was feeling, or maybe cool off, put up an Instagram post or something like that. P nice. Celtics can't defend. Definitely they struggled last night. Maybe we found out their weakness too. They found out their weakness, and maybe we can exploit it again. Dennis Schroeder, that was a critical turnover to down the stretch. Salute to IQ and Mitch for poking the ball away. I don't know what Schroeder was doing. He went one-on-one, faked the dribble handoff, took it to the cup. that was probably the turnover of the game that opened the door for us as well. And I'm just glad, yeah, like I said, like RJ had that opportunity to hit the game winner at 21 years of age. That's just going to make him play a lot more freer, confident, more loose for the rest of this season, I think. Yeah, Fournier is questionable. Thanks, D. He's questionable for tomorrow, with a thigh contusion. So thigh contusion, obviously he's sore right now, but that doesn't sound overly serious. So hopefully, the way he's been playing, he'll want to play Boston every single game. Let's hope he gets up. Knicks 100. The Randle got to go. Yeah, you definitely want to see Randle out of here, as do some other fans as well. Let's see what plays out with this situation. It's going to be really, really interesting to see. I hope just the focus as a New York Knicks fan that we've been through so much. I just hope the focus is on court, product, playing basketball and getting wins right now. We've been out of the back pages for a little while. Let's hope it's not a distraction, because we're about to get back to 500. And let's see, I think it's all going to blow over. I think Julius just aired his frustrations, and he's going to continue. Will he see out his 5 years in New York? It wouldn't shock me, to be honest. Nothing would shock me. I think Julius is safe this season. He's going to be here. Let's see where we finish up. Do we flame out in the playoffs? Maybe then the front office will have a conversation about Randle's future. Does he just completely bounce back now and look like the Julius of last season? That might change everything, everything. And I hope, Julius still has that, after signing that big deal, that he still has that same fire and desire to want to win in New York. David, I think we've seen enough of this team to know what they are exactly. It's highly unlikely the Knicks are going to get it together. They struggle and the bench bails them out. That's how it's going to go. Yep. I've got to agree with most of what you said. With this roster currently constructed, I don't think we're going to go too far. But what I'm more excited about is our young players. I'm excited about the trade period, trade deadline, see if, Leon pulls the trigger on a big move or not. But as this roster is currently constructed, I don't see us, making anything higher than the 7 seed and probably being a first round out. But the fan in me, obviously, there's always a lot of hope. And I think, some moves pending. We can definitely upgrade this team defensively. Let's hope. Salute Stanley. Fans at MSG who pay mega bucks for their seats have a right to boo, especially the fans that have been seeing mostly bad basketball after a start. Yep, I'm 100% with you on that. Fans have every right to boo, as long as it's not personal. Boo. Especially at the right time. The New York Knicks were down 20 points, 25 points as well. So I think, the fans were just venting, And Alan Hahn brought this up as well, which is a great point. When fans boo, they're also symbolizing how much they care. They care about the team. They care about winning. It's passion, right? That's what makes the Mecca and a great place where every opposing player wants to play. The fans are a big part of this thing, right? The NBA, the league, all of us, we're fans and we help improve the product. So, if we go there and we support our team, we have a right to cheer, we have a right to boo as well. Sherwin says, Boston ranked 13th in the NBA in defense. Appreciate that stat. Is that defense in efficiency in what defensive rating? Let me know. Bodega Wi-Fi, salute. Celtics always struggle in the fourth, especially after they traded Crowder. That's some good insight there. Appreciate that. They're lacking some leadership, I'm going to say. Jason Tatum, great star, offensive player. He seems pretty quiet on the court. He lets his play dictate. But especially after they traded Crowder, I can see them lacking that leadership. Marcus Smart just seems to be on the edge of maybe being moved on. I think not because of his play or anything, but I just think he's a player that a lot of teams are going to covet. This team is intriguing, David, as a fan, because they do instill hope. And I'm tuned in. Yeah, absolutely right. It's like an episode, your favorite TV series. Tune in to the next episode and see what happens. Like, this Julius thing is just a whole nother saga right now. And also, on any night when Evan Fournier goes off for 40 points, and then the next night it could score 0 points, 0 rebounds, 0 assists. It's unbelievable how inconsistent, we've been on this one. Knicks 100 wants to say Julius sabotage Kemba's night at the Garden too. Let's not forget that. Yeah, look, that's another situation that did occur. I'm not going to say sabotage, but in terms of was that the Christmas Day or the 44 piece? I think. Just remind me again what happened. Bodega. Now we're underdogs again, just like last year. They won't see us coming. See, that's a great point. I did a show before the season on are the New York Knicks the hunted? When you came into a season with expectations, it's different, right? It's different about teams, how they approach you in the scouting report, players, easing up, feeling like they don't need to go hard anymore, things like that. But when you're playing as an underdog with a chip on your shoulder, that's huge. That's definitely going to be huge. And teams, it's good that teams take us lightly because we can be the ones. We don't play well as the favorites. As we saw, we lost to Orlando twice, Cleveland. We lost so many winnable games. Celtics, Stanley will be out for Evan's scalp tomorrow, absolutely, which is why he's faking a thigh contusion. Yeah, good one. Good one, Stanley. Let's hope he's just icing it up. Let's hope his body's so hot right now that he's just going to hit everything. He's just icing it up and he's ready to go tomorrow as well. If I'm Tibbs, I know I'm going to do everything I can to get him out there, and so will Fournier. David, we've seen what they are at their best, and they can beat anyone, and at their worst, they can lose to anyone. Yep, absolute facts with that one. That's what's been the most infuriating thing about this season. And I guess, you're a product of your players. Our players have been inconsistent. Mitch injured up and down, having great games and then quiet games. Quickly is a young player, inconsistent. RJ is still a young, inconsistent player. Obi in limited minutes as well. Randle, like we said, and Kemba hasn't had a solid year either. So if you look at the foundation of a house or a building, a building's only as stable as its structure and foundation. And our foundation players have been inconsistent as well. Even coaching, you could say Tibbs has been a bit inconsistent as well. So that is something that has been the reason why the New York Knicks have been up and down. P. Nice says Randall's jealous. It's going to be interesting to see, he signed the bag to be the franchise dude, but the plan was always along to get more franchise dudes in here, I hope. So how does he handle that situation? And Sean, if he was Randall, he'd go to Leon and say, is it Obi or me? He's not the type of man to do it. LBJ would do that in a second. Okay. LBJ, in terms of, I don't know if LBJ's ever been in that situation because he's mostly been the man, but I wouldn't know why Randall would need to go to Leon. I know Leon is high on Obi. Leon's very high on Obi, but I don't think Randall needs to feel threatened or is threatened in any way. Randall gets all the minutes that he needs. I said this in the post game a while back. 12 months from now, things could get real interesting. In 12 months from now, because I know Obi, obviously him and his agent aren't going to be happy on their end playing 11 minutes a night. And so maybe, there is some conversations, to your point, needing to be had with that. They were Nice. They were chanting RJ while Randall was shooting free throws. Yeah, I did see that one. I did peep that as well. I don't think that was, intentional or anything. I think, they were just spurring RJ on. Sherwin's a big fan of Cam Reddish, John Wall as well. Sign me up for Cam Reddish. That'd be a nice addition, defensively, upside player. Has potential to be a great, upside, stopper defensively as well, and offensive upside as well. The John Wall one, I'm on board if it's a buyout, just not as a trade. I think that that contract is still a heavy load. And you clarify the Boston one is a defensive rating. Yep, okay, 13th overall. What's the Knicks at the moment? I think we were in the bottom 5 so far in defensive rating. The only upside for the New York Knicks is to move up from that. It has to be, right? The New York Knicks identity with a defensive coach. I know we don't have great defensive players, but with Grimes hopefully playing more, hopefully our defensive rating gets up there a bit more. David, as far as the Randall thing, I don't have a problem with players clapping back at fans when it's called for. Yeah, absolutely. Yep, it's fine. I don't think he needed to apologize, to be honest. I just think he could have maybe expressed his feelings a bit differently. We weren't in the room, obviously, but we see the quotes. I've heard a bit of the sound bite. We all know the beat writers do like to create a bit of an environment where players can feel more comfortable voicing their opinion as well. But in New York City, any quote you make is going to make the back page like that, and it clearly didn't bother Julius last night. I think the apology today had a big part to do with the New York Knicks organization, or maybe his agent or someone else just sitting back and saying, okay, just in case we have offended some people, let's just put something out there. Knicks 100, it's going to get worse. He already play when he wants, and when he don't want to, I will never vote for Randle again in his life. He's got to go selfish, disrespectful. Yep, you're definitely entitled to your opinion. As a New York Knicks fan, I'm not attached to any particular player at the moment. Julius has been, he's done some great things for the organization. I hope they continue, but I'm not ready to ship him out. At the same time, I'm also not married to him in terms of, if a deal comes along, I'm going to listen to it as well. And Sherwin, I have had parents banned for AAU games from bullying. Wow, when you were coaching, okay. Yeah, look, with the parent and the junior games, AAU games, it can definitely incite some altercations. And I think to be safe there, safe environment, fair environment, they want to get on top of that. I think they definitely want to get on top of that. Especially if it's more heckling. I'm okay for bullying, but personal heckling's a bit out of bounds. And we've got to give New York City Knicks fans some credit, right? We're rarely in the news for fan altercations outside of the Trae Young spitting thing, which doesn't reflect all of us. But you think in other cities like Utah and not to name everyone, but some other arenas have had some horrible stories about fans doing crazy stuff, right? So that the New York Knicks and the MSG crowd have been good over the years. We cheer opposing team stars as well. We've been starved of good basketball for so long that the fans at MSG normally turn out to see good basketball. Stanley, Celtics do not have a good point guard with leadership. Yeah, they're role players and not good 3-point shooters. Yeah, that's a good point. Dennis Schroeder, I think, was a smart signing for the $5 million exception, but I don't think he's their long-term solution at all. He's a bit erratic. Couldn't find a home in OKC, couldn't find a home in LA. Did fumble the bag. Some of their other players, Grant Williams lit us up earlier this season. He didn't, he looked like he couldn't shoot it at all. Thankfully for us. Who else did they have? Josh Richardson. I think he killed us last time, but he had a minimal impact this time as well. But Randle hasn't played well enough to say anything, especially that game. He didn't play well and missed big free throws, yet still talks big. Not a good look. Yeah, I think, look, Julius he's never been a born leader on any team, I don't feel. He's still learning the ropes. It's just it's a situation it is going to create some divide, some divide between fans. A lot of fans weren't really, one or the other last night about what he said and the apology, but it's more his play. Is he a leader that we need moving forward, for this team? Any news on Cam? Nothing that I've heard of as yet, guys. Let me know if you've heard anything. Although there was some news drop potentially that Gallo, and Cam are the two players that Atlanta are offering. They're calling teams, offering in a deal. Then there was also a report last night that, for those that may not have heard, Mark Stein is reporting that Atlanta are a team to look out for the Ben Simmons situation. So that doesn't surprise me. Atlanta have a lot of pieces, the Cam Reddishes, Gallows, picks, young players. They probably have the nucleus to get a deal done. But would Ben Simmons get traded to an Eastern team? That's going to be very interesting to see. I think Cam Reddish's name will definitely start coming up a lot more now. Now he's definitely on the block, right? He's on the trade block. I think, they've got so many wings. DeAndre Hunter will be back next season. David, he put it on himself. Now, if he doesn't play well, he's going to hear it. He absolutely will. I think, he's going to hear it some more. And I want to ask all you guys a question. Does this, after last night, do you think RJ Barrett has put himself more in in fans' graces ahead of Julius after last night? Let me know. Sure, I don't mind the Randle hate, when he deserves it. Booing because he's better than Obi is what I dealt with as an AAU coach. It makes my blood crawl. Yeah, you're definitely entitled to your opinion. In terms of, like I said, fans just being fans, the definition of a fan is a fanatic. And some people can handle themselves, in a more calmer manner. Some can't. As long, I'm okay with either as long as it's kept clean. I just don't know why fans prefer certain players. I'm just a fan of the New York Knicks in general. Players win me over with their play. They win me over with how they carry themselves, things like that. That's why I'm such a big fan of Patrick Ewing and some of the other Knick legends we all love because of just the way they handled themselves. Obviously, it's a different era. There's social media now. There's a lot of distractions, Instagram posts and burner accounts and fans getting at you and your family and all that. It's a completely different era to when the New York Knicks, legends of the 80s and 90s had to play in. But, I'm not going to sit here and say it's easy being in the spotlight and playing. But that's what you sign up for. If you're an NBA baller, a star on a max deal, you're in the New York City, you want this market, you need to embrace what comes with that as well. Appreciate everyone. The chat's lit. I'm enjoying this. I hope you are too. Just thought I'd try something different and show you guys some love. All the chats are going to get shouted out. Throw some questions, some trades, anything you're thinking about right now. I appreciate everyone. Sherwin, wants to animate the fans boo because they're Obi fans. I think Obi does have a lot of fans. I think there are also just some people that dislike Randle's game from what I'm seeing anyway. I think they just think his game, or they're not a fan of his particular game, but maybe not Julius as a person. Julius as a character, but the way his game is predicated as well. And also on that, look, it was tough for him. Him and Tibbs may be a victim of their own success too last season, right? To win Most Improved and Coach of the Year. Well, you're at the very top of the mountain. Where else can you go after Most Improved or Coach of the Year? The only way is to sort of dip down a little bit. It's hard to sort of go another level above that. And I think as New York Knicks fans, we're hungry for more, more and more. And we just want to see a player go to the next level and then the next level and then win as well. So I think that's why the fans' impatience is starting to creep in as well. Sherwin says the Knicks is now 6th. Okay. Was there some results today? Was there some results that made us move up? That's going to be real interesting. But tomorrow night's game is going to be crucial. Stanley, it would be a James Dolan move to obtain John Wall, who doesn't appear to have a lot left in the tank. A backcourt of Wall and Kemba mean no D. Yeah, I think, like I said, with Wall, I'd be open to it for a buyout. You'd be able to help, but his age, the fact that he hasn't played a lot recently, we'd have to bring him in for a workout. It'd be interesting to see if they are interested. There's that Kentucky connection. We know John Wall's absolutely trying to get out of Houston. He's trying to get out, do whatever he can to play, and rightfully so. He's still got some juice left in the tank. I'd be open to a Wall move on a buyout deal. And that's another thing. The New York Knicks can clear roster spots so easily now. Look out for us in the buyout market. If there's no major blockbuster or trade coming up, maybe the New York Knicks have their eyes on a couple guys and they talk to their agents and they say, hey, if your client gets bought out, we want a piece. We want to be in line to get that player as well. So buyout season's going to be huge. The Knicks have been second best defense the past 10 games. Great stat. I'm glad to hear that. What do you think has been a result of that? Just effort? Do you think it's been they've improved schematically, improved rotation-wise? I'm trying to think, but maybe in the last 10 games, I'm saying Quentin Grimes and Deuce McBride have played a little bit more. Maybe they have a lot to do with that. P. Nice wants to continue rocking with Randle to see how long do you want to see before you're willing to entertain, or are you just happy to build around Julius? Knicks 100. Knicks have been half-court pressuring a lot in the last 10 games. Okay, that's another good observation. I think Tibbs has probably made some adjustment, but some younger legs as too. it coincides with D Rose going out, with Kemba being down. The New York Knicks have some younger legs that can pressure a bit more in the half court and also change the pace. Pace has been critical to getting better looks in the half court because we don't have too many players in the half court that can create a shot or break people down in the half court. So getting the ball up the floor has been absolutely critical. I'm on that same train. Go get Cam Reddish. That'd be great to have him paired up next to RJ Barrett. That'd be lovely. Another young player with upside. Think about how long has it been since the Knicks have got a young player sort of in their upside stage where they haven't yet peaked. They haven't yet peaked, and it's a nice, smart gamble right now. And I think Cam Reddish is whatever he's worth. It'd be a gettable price. I feel like. I feel like Atlanta are ready to move on from him. And then Zion will follow Cam to New York. Yeah, the Zion thing's interesting. What do you guys think about his future? Are you over Zion now? Do you think he's just going to struggle for the rest of his career? But it's going to get dicey for Zion right now. I think he's in a situation where he's got to rehab the foot injury with the extra weight. That bears watching too, and he's obviously going to come up to an extension. And I think the New Orleans Pelicans are getting impatient with that. I think they might be ready to talk some trades soon as well, because how could you not? You can't run the risk of losing him for nothing, and you've got to be frustrated that he's not even playing. Brandon Ingram's another name to look out for. What do you guys think of him? Doc Rivers coach Gallinari? Can't remember if he did or not. On which team? See, I'm not sure of that one, Bodega. Stanley, supposedly Darryl wants a top 25 player for Simmons. Yeah, I've heard that as well. And the likes include a Dame Lillard, Shai Gilgeous, those kind of players is what he's looking for. A top 25 player. It's going to be very interesting. I think it's going to be probably not what he gets. I think it's going to be more a situation if he gets a package. He's happy with an overall package. I think whatever happens, don't let the Cavs get Simmons. It's over if Cavs get Simmons. Yeah, that's going to be another team that is in contention. They have the young picks, Knicks 100. They have the pieces to satisfy Philly, I believe. Maybe a Sexton, maybe Garland. Mobley's off limits, but they could definitely tempt Philly. For Philly, I've always been trying to find out what piece would they look to that's the best fit next to Embiid. Joel Embiid is their cornerstone, right? I didn't think Ben Simmons was a great fit next to Embiid. He's a bit of a clunky fit. Let's see, what player do you think fits Joel Embiid the most as well? Salute Bren. Salute RJ gets blocked at the rim a lot. Yeah, he did. He needs a hezzy move, pump fake, head fake. Teams pack the paint, dare us to shoot until we make teams pack the paint. Poor B-ball IQ. Definitely, man, you hit the nail on the head with that one. That's why we're seeing inconsistency. Some teams, we're lighting them up in the pick and roll, and then they go zone, and then we just shoot ourselves out of a game, against zone. Did the New York Knicks look to bring in Eric Gordon? That's a name we've been hearing, and we spoke to Mark Berman about it. He's friends and coming up in AAU way back with Derrick Rose. Look out for that name. The trade deadline, wouldn't be surprised. Eric Gordon. I was thinking a Fournier, Eric Gordon salary match, but if Fournier continues this good play, trade talk for him probably dies down. That's going to be interesting. But yeah, the New York Knicks need more shooters, Bren. Definitely. And sure, when I saw that today, Celtics did waive Jabari Parker. That's really interesting. He played for them a lot, but he hasn't played for them much recently. So yeah, that's going to be very interesting to see where Jabari ends up. I think he still has some game. Facts to Knicks 100. P9 says Cavs are going for another chip. It's crazy how quickly they rebuilt, right? I've never been a sort of a pro tanking or against tanking, but this is the classic example of how you build quickly. You stack a couple of generational talents and you can come up in the blink of an eye. And that's why the Cleveland Cavaliers have come up so quickly. You could be struggling a couple of years, and even when Darius and Sexton were together, it didn't look like a good fit. Yeah, they struggled because they were so young. 2-3 years later, you pair up another generational guy and some other vets, and all of a sudden, you can be a good team and catch people by surprise. And what do you think? Do you think LeBron ends up going back to Cleveland and retiring there? I think that'll happen. I think LeBron James back in Cleveland, try and win a chip with his son, and then try and be the greatest of all time. D. Ras, salute. Yeah, he says to David, facts, put up or shut up time. I'm assuming that's a reference to Julius and the situation at the moment. Sherwin, I'm a fan of this. I'm a fan of this complete team except for Obi and IQ. Okay. Yep. Yeah, we definitely got some young talent. I know you're a fan of Deuce Grimes. I dropped a video on Rocast today. As you see in the ticker, he's leading the GM survey for Rising Star in the Euro League this season. Whether you like him or not, that just shows that the New York Knicks drafted some talent. Jericho Sims. Let's see what happens. The New York Knicks have some pieces. Salute 19 Comman. Salute. Hope you had a great week, everyone. Big game tomorrow. Let's hope we can continue this good form. Salute Vaughn. Appreciate you. The beautiful thing about RJ is he wants to be a New York Knick. Absolutely. 21 years of age. He's primed for a takeover by his prime as well. Yeah. I'm still very, very high on RJ. I hope that his ceiling can be all-star year after year. That he has age on his side. He has the work ethic, like you said. He can handle the media. RJ Barrett's a cornerstone piece. I just think, you can't really entertain a trade for RJ Barrett right now unless a top 10 player, unless it's a trade for a top 10 player in the league right now. It's hard to just do that, Let's just break the curse and keep a player on their second rookie deal, finally, since Charlie Ward. Salute, Cat and Reddish ASAP. Yeah, Cat's going to be an interesting one. Minnesota are surprising a bit. They're in the playoff hunt, 9th seed right now. And Edwards, their other franchise player, said, playoffs or bust. He thinks they're going to get there. They've got the pieces. I'm not too sure what their run home's going to be like, but maybe they're going to be buyers at the deadline. That's going to be interesting. Minnesota, they've been down for so long. A salute Spree, salute fam. Rocking this one solo, chat show. Just throw any thoughts, trades, opinions in the chat, and I'm going to shout them all out. Showing 6th in team defense. Okay, interesting. P. Nice says Jay Wall will be a great fit in Miami. It wouldn't surprise me. What do you think about Oladipo? Oladipo's on such a cheap deal. He's not healthy yet. Miami are also underachieving this year. It's crazy to think. And did you guys all think Chicago would be where they are this season? I know they made improvements, but I thought it was a little bit of fool's gold. So I eat some crow there. Didn't think Chicago would be able to string it all together. But the Caruso, Lonzo Ball deal were just as big as the DeMar deal. I think, DeMar DeRozan's getting all the flowers, but he's scoring. But I think their defense is predicated on Lonzo and Caruso. Stanley, why would Wall come to the Knicks when he could win a chip somewhere else? I think Wall wants to play. He wants to go to a place where he could play the most. I think maybe the Clippers could be a nice fit for him. I think, he'd be happy to go on a lot of teams to play and help contribute as well. Not sure about his interest in the Knicks. But if it means a lot of minutes with D Rose and Kemba out, then I think Wall could definitely might want to come here. P. Nice, Randle and Cat is championship material. Yep. Really good ages, similar in ages. I think those two working together, could definitely get us far. Depending also on the other pieces with RJ coming up. Also, we talked about RJ's extension and what that's going to look like. It's going to be crazy to think he has to ball out for us to really take that max extension seriously. But it might not be a max. It might just be, just a nice, handsome extension. And Cam Reddish is the ideal small forward for this right now. So you basically thinking swap Fournier, swap for Cam. That's a nice fit overall. Gives us same amount of offense, better defense and length as well, getting up and down. He's got raw athleticism. 19, because of the run of below 500 teams we've been facing, is the reason for better D. yeah, it definitely factors into it. 19, good point. We've faced Detroit, we've faced Mini, we've faced some horrible teams as well. But yeah, credit where credit's due. We've picked up our game, and we just need to play better D on effort. We don't have the same defensively talented players as last season, but we could definitely put in better effort, I think. Yeah, Sherwin doesn't want no to fat man. Carl Towns, I believe, in reference to Stanley. Zion's a good gamble for the Knicks. Send Julius and Obi for Zion. Wow, that's a hefty package. Yeah, look, it's hard for me to even comment on it now. I'm not a fan of Zion's not ability to not play, but I'm also a fan of his upside. Definitely, I just need to see Zion back on the court before I even know what I'm trading for. Yeah, P nice. Yeah, Zion. Look out for the trade rumors. Just definitely start buzzing. Yeah, LA Clippers. Yeah, exactly, Vaughn. Yep. Zion off the bench for Randle. Man, that'd be crazy right now. Look, Zion, he spoke about the Mecca being his favorite place to play. That's the place to be. A lot of players, younger generational players, are going to want to come to the Mecca now, I think. The sort of previous generation, the Knicks were really, really bad. And I think we were the laughing stock or the joke of the league when LeBron turned us down, left us at the altar. I think this younger generation of players look at the Knicks as more attractive now. Now that the older generation players are finished, the newer social media generation of the Randalls, Zion's, who else? Donovan Mitchell's. They all love coming to the Garden. Even Kyle Kuzma put on Twitter the other day that the Garden's his favorite place to play. So they all love saying that. Who's man enough to take on that challenge now? And come here, put their money where their mouth is. We have money to spend. We had money to spend. Fred VanVleet of late didn't want to come here. He had no interest. Apparently, the New York Knicks were very interested in Fred VanVleet. He didn't want to listen to us, didn't take a meeting, wanted to stay in Toronto. So he's probably going to remain a Toronto Raptor. P. Nice, facts. That's why he's been calling for Cat and Reddish since last season. And you could see P. Nice could see Gallo in Philly. Yeah, that would be a nice fit. I think some shooters around Embiid as well. Sherwin, could see Gallo in retirement. I think Gallo will go to Italy. I think he'll probably play a season in Italy before he retires as well. Vaughn, is there any player that is built for Philly? That there is any player that is built for Philly? It's Dame Lillard. That would be big for Philly. Yeah, I think that was a trade. He's definitely on that top 25 list players that Philly would love to get. But I think Dame, it's just interesting. It's just fascinating why he doesn't want to get moved. I appreciate his loyalty. There's very few players left of that in the league. Dame Lillard, maybe he sees the love that Dirk Nowitzki gets. Salute to Dirk for his retirement last night, jersey retirement. Maybe Dame just thinks, to heck with this. If I don't win, I'm going to look bad chasing rings. Maybe I just stay in Portland and do this over. Sign another 5-year max extension. Maybe it's all about the money for Dame. Go get him, Knicks. Sherwin, Pudge. Well, go get Barry. Stanley. Why would the Rockets want Fournier? They're on a rebuild. Yeah, that's the thing holding it up. But yeah, if they want to get a younger player than Eric Gordon. Fournier's 29, Eric Gordon's 33. I think similar contracts, so it's probably like for like in that regard. Yeah, that Cavs team's huge. Lowry, I haven't really watched them play much, but Lowry Markkanen is a big player, young player. I don't think he's played much this season as well. It's been Mobley and Jared Allen. Yeah, and P. Nice definitely agrees. Bron's going back. I think, how long do you think the Lakers experiment lasts for? Maybe I think I'm going to say 1 or 2 more years. They're probably not going to win a chip. I think, he realizes that LA window's done for. And what does LeBron normally do? He looks ahead and he plans his next move. Sherwin says, but his wife's not going to enjoy the cold moving back. Yeah, that's going to be interesting too. Yeah, he's a family man. He includes his family in all his decisions. That was one of the reasons he didn't want to come to the Knicks, supposedly as well. Expose his family to this spotlight. that Julius and his wife are facing now. And Knicks 100, you add Simmons to the Cavs, good Lord, the mismatches they would represent night in, night out. Yeah, that'd be crazy. Even LeBron too. Imagine if LeBron was their small forward with their huge 3, 4, and 5. That'd be crazy. Sharp Powers, salute. This is not RJ's first last-minute shot. Maybe the first one he has hit. Yeah, it was just great to see the experience he got and putting it up and taking that last shot. And there was a bit of luck involved. RJ was taken out of the game the play before, apparently, and then was put back in that last play. So it was just meant to be. It was meant to be for us. And finally, get that first buzzer beater down. Was it the first since RJ? Not the first since RJ, since JR. First since JR Smith in Phoenix, hitting that one. Sherwin told us that they will all be better than the Knicks as well. Was that the Cavs or Bulls on that one? Sorry, I'm a bit delayed. You guys are firing it at me, trying to keep up. We could send Mittens, Fournier, and IQ for a first and first for Cat. Yeah, look, Minnesota, I think they're going to want a huge price for Cat. So let's see. Yeah, they are good friends. They are definitely good friends. Ao Dosunmu in Chicago looks promising. Yeah, I know the Spurs were pretty interested in him, so that's going to be really interesting. Cat and Randle is a train wreck waiting to happen. Knicks 100. Yeah, defensively, there's some concerns with that one. Sherwin wants to trade Noel, Fournier, Kemba, and Knox for Wall and a pick. So let me go through it. Noel, I don't really care for. He can go. Fournier can go. Kemba can go. Knox can go for Wall and a pick. Yeah, I wouldn't be mad at that. I think it's just a little bit too much still to give away in terms of a player like Wall. Wall's a player that you bring in on a buyout. I think Noel, Fournier, Kemba, and Knox can help us in another package, for a different offer. P nice start Cam at small forward, sign Jabari to backup. Yeah, bringing that experience. But does that take away minutes from Grimes as well? And Sherwin, yeah, Zion, struggling with his weight. Definitely, absolutely. Salute Jorge Calderon. Salute. Salute Zion maybe doing all of that to get out of New Orleans. Yeah, that's a good take. Let's see. Who knows? I think we all know his future's not going to be in New Orleans. It was they were screaming from the rooftops when it happened, but it's just not unless they were winning immediately. Unless they win immediately, it's going to be difficult. And it's certainly not a good fit with Brandon. With who else they got? Got some other young pieces and trade picks, so they've still got flexibility. Sherwin doesn't want to trade Mitch, RJ, Randall, Grimes, McBride. The rest of the players are very available. Yeah, I have to agree with that one. I still want to see what Obi and IQ can do on this team a bit longer while they're on rookie deals. Whether you like them or not, trading a player on their rookie deal is not smart business as yet, just so you can see what you have in that player. But yeah, you do run the risk of also losing some trade value as well. So yeah, it's a double-edged sword. Yeah, we could see Spider in NYC soon. Sign me up for that one. That's bona fide. Stephen A. Smith went on record yesterday to say he thinks he's the best player in Jazz history. Spider Mitchell, his best days are ahead of him. That's the kind of player I want. A player who's ascending, who's peaking at the right time. And I'll tell you one thing: if we get Cam, it's 100% done deal that Zion would be in Nick. Yeah, it's hard to see otherwise, in terms of trade package or whatever. But yeah, if Zion can play with his two boys, that's going to be crazy. And what's good is they all fit, right? They all fit in different positions, like pieces of the puzzle. Zion could even play the 4 sometimes. Maybe push Randle at the 5. Let's rock with it. I'm just a fan of the game overall, and I do want to see Zion achieve his potential. As long as he's dedicated to the game, trains hard, gets that weight off. You hate to see a big prospect lose their career to a foot injury. Greg Oden, we all know the stories, other players. Zion just needs to look after his body. You've only got one body. You've been blessed with a God-given talent, right, to ball out, play ball at the highest level. So take care of that. Take care of your body. Get a dietitian, get all of that. I'm sure he does, but how serious is he going to take it? I'm with the move for Reddish, sharp powers, but he thinks Evan is here for the long haul, at least for the season. Yeah, I can see that too. Definitely going to be some spotlight. Jonathan Wasserman, draft guru, put out a funny tweet right after the game of, actor Leo in The Wolf of Wall Street making all these phone calls saying, the phones are hot for Evan Fournier. Make a deal while you can. I hope Evan Fournier doesn't just turn into a pumpkin again when we don't play Boston. Let's see. Let's see if he's fired up for the rest of the season. IQ for Cam ASAP. Oh, look, that's a tough one, man. That's a tough one. I love IQ. I think that'll definitely please Atlanta. I think for the price that they're looking for Cam. So what do you guys think on that one? Dame is holding out for an extension. Definitely, he's a money man. Dame Dollar. Having said that, maybe he does wakes up and realizes how important winning is as well. Knox, Rokas, and a first for Reddish. Yep. That's probably a deal that I would do. Definitely. I'm high on Rokas and the first, whatever. We have so many firsts. So definitely, that's a good one. 19. Sherwin Randall's here in New York. This is where his wife want to be. Yep, definitely. We did embrace them last season. He had a down first year in New York. We embraced them. His play was great. All NBA, All-Star, most improved. Let's just hope the story ends well. Man, it was really nice to see Evan lighting up the Garden last night. Vaughn, hope he has finally found his stroke. Definitely. I think Fournier struggles when these average games, and he gets up for the big games. He gets up for playoff, Olympic performances when there's something at stake, right? Maybe somebody just needs to light a fire under Evan, and to do that. But I always said this too when he was struggling. He's a rhythm shooter. He's not a knockdown sharpshooter like Kyle Korver type guy. He's a rhythm shooter, and I think early on in this season, Evan wasn't getting the shots required to get in rhythm. Was feeling out process with Kemba, with Randle. He'd never played with these many pieces before as well. So that could have been a factor as to why. Sherwin doesn't want to do the cat move. Cat's in mini. I think he's going to stay there for now. But I wouldn't be mad at bringing in Cat. I just want a different look at the 5 spot, someone who can give us some more offense. Yeah, Wall's risky having Kemba. Absolutely. Definitely on that one. Grimes off the bench for RJ. Yep, definitely. Grimes is a big piece for what this thing is. 25th overall drafted in very early stages of his rookie year to be able to do what he's doing, look comfortable, look like he's not shook, play big minutes. The shot's going to always be there. That's his strength. His IQ, basketball IQ and D IQ has been off the charts for me, just seeing his positioning, looking for the steals in the passing lanes, all of that. Grimes is a keeper. That was a great selection overall. I'm kind of glad we didn't, give up assets to move up for a Duarte or some of these other guys. I'm okay with where we're at. We drafted some solid role guys. Well, also just as bad as Rose, IQ, and Kemba at running the offense, and he can't shoot as well. Yeah, the same issue for me is Wall hasn't been playing enough recently. Let's say we bring him in and he goes down with another lower leg injury or something like that. There is definitely risks attached to that. That's why I said if he's bought out, I'm all for that. Get him on a buyout. I think we always lose the side of the fact that there's some great players that eventually get bought out too. I think Houston are just playing. They're playing, rolling the dice with this, with other teams, seeing if anybody will trade for him. But I think they will eventually buy him out. You want to see what that Ryan guy can do. Yeah, Diakonu from Chicago, 4 seasons with them. I think he's a serviceable vet. He'll run the point off the bench. He can defend okay as well. He's a bit undersized, a bit slim, but he could definitely help out. He can shoot it. He can shoot okay, 37% from 3. Not expecting a whole lot, but just expect someone that can come in, help out as a backup. He's going to be serviceable. He's going to help run the team off the bench. And hopefully hit the spot up Jay as well. It's interesting, there's a lot of people saying, why did we sign him if he's injured? When Shams announced that Ryan was signed, he did hint that it's a signing for the rest of the season. The New York Knicks have explored their options. And see, one thing I've learned about the New York Knicks front office's thinking, also Mark Berman, reaffirmed this, is that the New York Knicks look into players, their history, their background heavily. They go for character guys. So they're very, very fussy in a way, which is why they brought Damian Dotson in, players that they're familiar with. Same with their drafting. They always look for familiar faces. And so, in terms of the Diakonu thing, they had some intel, some background on him, and they felt comfortable with him for the rest of the season. Because I think they know that Kemba and D Rose, are a bit of a shaky option moving forward, right? You can't just rely on them. IQ for Cam, straight up swap, sign him up. Obviously, Cam Reddish came out the same year as RJ, so he's eligible he's got one more year, right, for his rookie contract, is Cam Reddish. So maybe that's why Atlanta are trying to get the most value they can from him as well. They need to try to keep the first round picks. I agree with that one. But trade the ones that don't mean much. The Charlotte one, for those that you don't know, it's top 1 to 18 protected next draft. So if Charlotte fall within the top 18, they get to keep that pick. And then the next season after that, it's top 22 protected as well. So they'll get to keep that again. And then if they keep that again for the second year, the third year, it turns into 2 second round picks for us. So it may not be as valuable keeping that one. We probably should try and trade that Charlotte pick in case it doesn't parlay. Easy money for IQ for Cam. A lot of people on board with that one. Yep. That's interesting. He doesn't want to trade Obi. I just got a feeling about Obi. Okay, Knicks 100, high on Obi. What's your favorite part of his game? Where do you think he can go with his ceiling? All of that. Reddish is always injured. Careful what you wish for. Okay, I haven't really seen Cam's career much with Atlanta. I know he's sort of been on the outer. Didn't play much in their season, playoff season last year. He didn't get much of a burn. It was DeAndre Hunter. Does the fact that DeAndre Hunter go down, influence their decision on him? It's going to be interesting to see what kind of package, right, they want for Reddish. And just knowing when word gets out that a team wants to move on from a player, you sort of lose leverage a lot, don't you? You start to hear his name around a lot. I think Cam's going to be in probably that big trade, that blockbuster trade, right, that Atlanta are trying to go for. And on that note, let's talk about the standings, because Atlanta are underachieving worse than we are. 17 and 20, 12th spot for the former Eastern Conference Finals contender. So that they've got to be very displeased with where they're at right now. And I think they're definitely looking to make that bigger move, right? They're definitely trying to make a big move, a big splash in Atlanta. They see Cleveland come up, Chicago's come up, Washington's come up on them. All of that just shows how crazy it can be in one season. Every season has a mind of its own. You could be Eastern Conference Finals, and then you just back down to 12th spot. Well, I think DeAndre Hunter has a big part to play with that. Being injured, he's a big key piece, a defender for them. And of course, Trae Young, struggling with the new rules, or not struggling, but not getting as many, ticky-tack calls, not getting as many calls that he's used to getting, and your whole game can be reliant on that. You get used to that, and it just changes everything. What do you guys think has been the main struggle for Atlanta this season? Me personally, the East has just got better as well, as we've seen. Sharp Powers, their trade will depend on our record if we're close to being in the playoffs. Yeah, great point. There'll be play-in, and then there'll be a bigger trade done. Definitely, I think I see this front office as being evaluating, every day, seeing how we're going, and not being satisfied also, seeing the East. And And let's not underestimate how much influence, James Dolan may have. James Dolan, is behind the scenes, but that doesn't mean that he doesn't meet with Leon Rose. Maybe he doesn't interfere or he doesn't, encroach, but that doesn't mean he doesn't meet with Leon Rose and ask, how's it going? What's your vision for the future? What's your goal? What's next for you? What's next for the team? Things like that. The subtle pressure might still be there as well. We know New York City will struggle to rebuild here for so long. It's a microwave mentality right now. And the hardest thing to do in the NBA is to grow, develop young talent, and also try and win at the same time. The New York Knicks are caught between a rock and a hard place, in my opinion, right now. We've got some young players that can help us win, but the Tibbs won't trust as much. Evan Fournier still gets lots of minutes. There was times it was clear to see that, other players should have got some more minutes. It's going to be really interesting like I said, the next 12 months, the Knicks are going to go in a certain direction, and Obi Toppin is central to that. Randle is central to that. Where we go in terms of trades and things, because these young players, you can't hold on them for too long until you lose value, or you also hurt their growth as well. Sharp-House Tibbs not want to let go of IQ. That's Tibbs' guy. Yeah, definitely is Tibbs' guy. And it makes you wonder how much influence Tibbs has, because they didn't re-sign Reggie Bullock. He was keen on Bullock, so that's going to be really interesting to see. Sherwin says that Reddish is not always injured. Okay, yeah, like I said, I haven't been following Reddish and Atlanta too much, but I know Reddish was out last season a bit. Reddish did not get the minutes his first 2 seasons. He came in quite raw. He's definitely got some high upside, and it'd be a nice upside swing for that. Knicks 100, and Obi shot the ball decent, when he was facing the basket from the small forward position last year. I think how Knicks are using Obi is wrong, but hey, so do you want to see him used more in the 3 spot as well? I've been on record to say, I want to see him and Randle play more. Even if it doesn't look like it's working or not, it helps you make your decision. You drafted a player 8th overall, right? That's a big part of your investment. Whatever you think his future might be, you invested a heavy amount in that, in the 8th overall pick. And you gave Julius the bag now. So you're stuck with 2 pieces that you need to try to figure out how to play together, right? Because Obi, his rookie year is going to continue to go on, and, you're going to lose some value on that or hurt his growth, one or the other. So, they need to continue to do that. Sherwin Reddish did not get the minutes in his first 2 seasons. He was often DNT. Vaughn, people seem to think you can get Mitch's skill set, rim running and shot blocking anywhere. He's still raw, no college experience, hoping that we can hold on to Mitch. He can become a really great anchor for New York. Yep, absolutely, right. Mitch has impressed me for a while recently. His work ethic, I think he had the right intentions putting on the weight. He tried to develop his game that way. Right, he's thinking, okay, if I'm not going to be able to utilize my shooting, the coach isn't going to let me put up any J. What else can I do? Get in the weight room, bulk up, become a beast down low, pull in those putbacks, rebounds, all of that. Develop my paint presence, put on weight. What we did find, though, the weight has slowed him down a little bit, and he's just got better and better conditioning-wise when he's lost the weight. So Mitch, I think, is going to have a great second half of this season, and hopefully, health permitting, he might be playing himself into a good contract. I think there'll be some trade rumors. I think there'll be some trade interest, in Mitch. I think teams, when they do call the Knicks, they'll be mentioning Mitch, and asking where they sit. Knicks 100. Obi is shooting less than 20% when it's not a dunk. Teams score 4 points or more when Obi is on the floor. Obi, so Sherwin, this is, to Knicks 100. Teams score 4 more points when Obi is on the floor. Obi is ranked as the 74th best defender power forward. I haven't really looked into the stats a whole lot. There's definitely analytics are a big part of the thing, and that's why Tibbs also probably makes some of his decisions. My point again, if Obi is an investment, you've got to continue to see what that is, continue to play him, in his role, and give him minutes when opportunities permit, because it helps you as a business, right? Whether he's part of your future or not, it's an asset, right? You need to unlock an asset and see what it is. Canal, Salute, Cat Reddish, and Ben Simmons. Yeah, a blend of defense and offense there. That'd definitely be a formidable threesome. Ben Simmons, that's another thing. Where do you guys think he'll go? That's going to be a really interesting league story to watch. This trade period, back and forth with Philly. Both of them are being childish about it, trying to make points. It's going to be interesting to see where Simmons goes. Salute, Juju, salute up in here. Throw your opinions, questions out there. Salute. If we pass the ball to Mitch, Canal, his game will blossom. Don't need him to shoot, but use him on lobs and actually pass it to him when he pins a guard under the hoop to give him the ball. Yeah, facts with that one. One of my favorite plays last night was not just RJ's game winner, obviously, but my favorite play was the third to last possession to get us back to tie score, finding Mitch on the lob. RJ was surveying the floor, kept his dribble alive, was looking up, saw the help coming, and he gave it to Mitch as well. That was nice to see. It's hard to see any other player that would have really looked for Mitch in that situation. So that's what was impressed me about RJ and Mitch, that game, that pick and roll and that lob. Because, if it was anyone else, I think they would have missed Mitch on that one. Definitely Mitch is a mismatch. He has the size. We need to look for him a bit more. If that is his way to score, we need more scoring out of the center spot, then put him in positions, run a couple of screens like they do for Obi, coming off the back curl. Mitch can find his way to the hoop and get a lob dunk, just like Jericho Sims and Obi. Look for that. While he's on the court, he's a threat. And while we're not utilizing that, again, we're just playing 4-on-5 like we were in the playoffs. So definitely I'm all for featuring Mitch a lot more. We need to build that man up. Knicks want to understand his numbers as well as all of Obi's weaknesses. Yeah, it's pretty clear to see. We see it every game as well. Juju, just imagine this team playing with each other for 3 or 4 more years together. Chemistry is everything. It definitely is a big, big part, man. Chemistry. Like I said, with Evan Fournier too before, playing, he's never played with players that many talented weapons, right? He's a rhythm shooter. The Kemba Walker thing, I don't think it's part of the future, but I can understand that was a part of the early season frustrations as well. We just need to find a few building blocks, to your point, and then build around them, build that solid structure and foundation, don't we? And just continue to be stable organization, make the playoffs again, keep building young players and building this great thing that players will want to come as well. And players are watching, how we treat young players, how we treat stars, vets, all of that. Some players are great players, but they just don't want to come to New York because of how we mismanage certain things, situations. Jermaine, salute. Jeremiah Grant is all we need, a defensive small forward. A great point. That's another name that needs mentioning. Detroit, he's no use to Detroit right now. We know Detroit's, looking for offers. What would you be willing to give up for Jeremy Grant? Because he'd be a nice defensive piece. He could score as well. But that small forward, that would give us a lot more size as well. Jeremiah Grant, he's going to be in hot demand. Detroit are a hot mess as well. Christian Wood in Houston as well. KPJ, look out for these talented guys on bad teams that will want to get traded as teams try to tank. Vaughn, Quickly's defense has been steadily getting better and very solid this season. Yeah, I agree. Development, shout out to him. He's got a bit stronger. He's put on a bit more weight quickly. I think Summer League, don't forget, we keep saying rookies Quickly and Obi missed out on Summer League, their rookie year. It was a big part of their off season this season in the Summer League. He had that nice game, 8 assists. I think Quickly's development's coming along. I like the way he pushed the pace last night. He just needs to continue to get reps, in big games, big minutes, keeping his dribble alive, working on his handle. That's going to be a big swing skill, keeping his handle alive, shot selection, tunnel vision, all of that. He's definitely got, huge potential. Salute Canal. Shai doesn't see Simmons coming to New York. Cat either. Both contracts are too big. Yeah, it's gonna create a huge trade, right, to match the salaries. Definitely. I think Simmons is going to want to go to a team that's a bit more ready to win now as well. As his preference, I think he would not be against New York, but I think Philly, yeah, will definitely look for a Western Conference team first, and look out for it, guys. Always a team that people aren't mentioning or people don't assume are interested or available. They might get involved at the 11th hour. It depends who's struggling, who's not. It might take the LA Clippers, someone who has high aspirations and a very, very rich owner to get fed up with their situation, right? The LA Clippers, they might just wake up and say, hey, a younger Simmons might be nice with Kawhi. Let's offer a PG or someone else. On that note, Kawhi Leonard apparently is progressing in his rehab, and Kawhi is on track to play this season. So that's going to be another interesting storyline to see. Kawhi Leonard, we all know how he likes to come back or take his time, coming back. And so let's see if the Clippers, can make a run, out west. Knicks 100. Knicks need more offensives, 2 more offensive off seasons, and it's a wrap. Just give the front office 2 more off seasons. You'll see. I'm glad you have that kind of faith. You a fan of their drafting, their trades, just overall what they're doing. Building some flexibility. I'm optimistic as well. I still have a hard time seeing which new star is going to come here. Yeah, it might just come out of left field. Things can progress in the NBA, can't they, real fast? Like maybe, one more year of losing in Utah and Donovan Mitchell just becomes, request out. Maybe, maybe 2 years of losing if Phoenix don't get over the hump. Devin Booker wants out. You just never know, right? Do you guys think Giannis Antetokounmpo will finish his career in Milwaukee too? He's won his chip there. He's done his service to the city. Let's see what happens. If they don't repeat or win again and again, does Miami try to steal him away? It's going to be really interesting to see. Vaughn, which Nick will you think will be a surprise to us in the second half of the season? Yeah, great question. I'm not going to say necessarily a surprise, but I think Quentin Grimes will feature heavily in the second half of the season. And that's based on either Fournier staying and struggling or Fournier getting traded as well. So I think, Quentin Grimes, we're really going to see his ceiling and his potential. Right now he's only been able to showcase glimpses of his game. Maybe the whole repertoire is not there yet, like the creation, the dribbling, getting to the hoop. He's more of a spot up shooter now, but I think there is more to his game that Quentin Grimes can show us. He's got great passing as well. That's an underrated skill. Quentin Grimes keeps his head up, has good vision, looks for the teammates. He's a team first guy. And I think, Quentin Grimes. And I also said RJ Barrett, now that he's hit this game winner, he's got that tension, that release away. You've hit your first game winner, buzzer beater. You're all over Sports Center. You're all over the billboards. The photos will live on forever from last night. We've seen them all. Now that you've got that out of the way as a 21-year-old, I just think RJ Barrett's going to play a whole lot more confident, loose. He's not going to worry about missing the last second shot no more. He's not going to worry about bricking shots. He's just going to play confident. And I'm looking forward to seeing it. Sharp Powers, Luka will be our upgrade and add-on to the team. We may get a point guard if we make a trade. Yeah, facts, right? Great point with Luka on that one. Unfortunately, Luka didn't play tonight. Was out with a left heel injury. Might be the same injury that's been hurting Luka for a little bit. But Luka Samanic, he's developing nicely in the G League. He's cooking there, marinating, and he's going to come up. I think he's going to get a shot this second half of the season. I think it might be a little bit longer than we hope till he comes up because it's a log jam right now. We got Kevin Knox still there. They want to showcase him before he ends up getting traded, when they decide what to do with his contract. But yeah, I think Luka will definitely come up this season and give us a different look. He can stroke it. He can block shots. He's he's not a great defender by any means, but Luka Samanic will surprise some people. He's quick on the feet. He's got length. He does get some blocks. It's just all about his motor and effort, basically. San Antonio weren't patient. They obviously saw some things that they didn't like with Luka. There was a play where he gave up on a play that was supposedly, Popovic's last straw. But yeah, at the end of the day, their loss is our gain. He's playing well in the G League. I like it. It's about time we start utilizing our G League more, developing these guys. Just only bring them up when they're ready to get minutes, just like Toronto have done for the years. Knicks GM wants to see a healthy Noel back, makes us lethal. Yeah, you're going to go with Noel as a surprise player for the second half of this season. Yeah, I've been on record to say how critical Noel's impact can be on the game. His pick and roll D is the best out of all the centers. His hands, his stealing, picking those steals, that helped us a lot. He had a beast of a game against Milwaukee, right? When we upset Milwaukee over there, Noel came back. He was everywhere, throwing his body around and the like. The only concern with Noel is his health, his durability and consistency, being able to play more. But I got a feeling with him and Mitch, one of them is probably going to be on the, part of a trade package, just because, Noel and Mitch, although both of them have their injury history and things like that, with the money, the salary wise, it makes sense to move Noel, with the $10 million. It's got another year on that deal. And so far, he's not been as healthy as we like. Juju, appreciate you. Want to hear my opinion and prediction for tomorrow's game? Tomorrow's game, I said earlier, Juju, I think it's going to show us how mentally strong this team is and whether we have turned the corner or not. It's all good to win last night. It was a feel-good win, and we're still riding on a high from that. But it means nothing if we lose tomorrow. We go back to 2 games under 500 again, right? And we're trying to build consistency right now. So tomorrow's game is critical. It's hard in the NBA to win, home and homes as well, right? And against a team that's going to be fired up, against a team that we beat at the last minute, the last shot. So that's why I think tomorrow night's game is going to be huge. My prediction is we play well. It's going to be a tough game. I don't think we're going to be, we're going to win convincingly, anything like that. I think Boston's just going to give us their all. Their backs against the wall. Their coach called them out. Udoka called out Boston and said they're mentally weak or questioned their mental toughness. And I think we're going to get Boston's best shot tomorrow night. They're fairly healthy still. I think only Pritchard is out due to an injury or protocol. So yeah, unless we wake up tomorrow and we hear something different about injuries, Fournier is questionable with a thigh contusion. So that's going to be very, very interesting tomorrow night, man. I'm really looking forward to that game. NBA TV back on MSG. Like I said, RJ is going to be feeling himself. Spotlight's going to be on Julius. How do they play on the road? We've played on the road well this season. Let's hope it can continue. But I think it's going to be a tough game. It's going to be close. My prediction is, I hope we pull out the dub, but I think it's going to be within 5 points. It's going to be a classic Eastern Conference playoff battle, just like last night was. But Boston are going to get dirty. They're going to play tough. They're going to test us physically. One thing I hope, Juju, is that we've learned from some of the scouting, the film sessions, like we spoke on RJ Barrett, taking it to the cup, getting blocked 100 times by Robert Williams. I hope there's some adjustments there. Pulling the head fake, get him in the air, get him in foul trouble. And I think, we've got Boston up against the ropes. I said this before, but we ended the Celtics era in 2013. I think when the Paul Pierce, KG, and Ray Allen era, we ended that era. Jason Terry, and I think Boston are again. They're on the verge of blowing things up, and we might be able to land that final blow to Boston, because Jaylen Brown, they're dangling him in a trade piece. They're trying to get maybe Bradley Beal to pair up with Jason Tatum. Their boys growing up. There's some changes on the horizon for Boston, because they're underachieving big time right now. And when you got coaches calling them out, they're below us on the standings too, 18 and 21. They've got a makeshift point guard in Schroeder, on a prove it deal. I mean, what does the future hold for Boston? So I think, let's beat them tomorrow, and we could go up on Boston by 2 games if we beat them tomorrow as well. So it's another 2-game swing if we land that final blow to Boston, and we'll be entrenched in the play-in in a 10th spot or 9th spot, possibly 8th spot tomorrow as well. So it's a huge game. We could leapfrog the Wizards and the Hornets tomorrow up to 8th spot potentially as well. So that's another huge thing to look out for. And of course, after Boston, we're back home against the Spurs, another tough game, and then at home to Dallas. KP and Frank come back to the Garden, so that's another big one to look out for as well. So the games come thick and fast. We definitely need to try and build some consistency. Try to establish some winning, because I don't want to be a 500 team. For sure. I can't take a win and a loss, a win and a loss. It's getting tough. It's getting tough right now, but if we could ride out 500 till the trade deadline, and then see what this front office wants to do, see what decision where they want to go, and let me know, chat. Let me know, everyone watching. Where do you see the New York Knicks going from the trade deadline? Do you think we'll definitely make a move, some kind of move? It seems like a couple of these moves were precursors, bringing in Archie Diacono, the point guard backup. Maybe that symbolizes that they're just going to try and move Kemba along, or ride out Kemba and just ride out with the point guards we have. Let's see. I think a center move might be on the cards, and a small forward as well. A good point. Knicks 100. We win the series. If we win tomorrow as well, facts, it'll be 3-1, including the opening night thriller, in Madison Square Garden as well. So that's always great to get a season series right against our foe. Last season, we got the season series against Atlanta and Miami as well, and we were able to finish above them in the 4th spot. So it'd be nice to be able to say, hey, one Atlantic Division and Eastern rival that we've already, disposed of this season, and take a 2-game swing on Boston. So what do you think, guys? Juju, tomorrow, give us your predictions, for the big game. It's going to be interesting. Again, these home and homes are tough, man. They are tough. Just mentally, it tests your mental fortitude, because it's like a playoff series. You have film sessions, you have adjustments to make. Udoka had a good look at us, close firsthand. We had a good look at them. The first game of a playoff series is normally testing each other out and feeling each other out. And tomorrow night is going to be more of a who makes good adjustments, who can produce and play well again and make adjustments. I think Robert Williams had far too much of an impact. So we need to do something to neutralize him as well, instead of just running straight into him. And at Knicks 100, we don't have too many tiebreakers yet, facts as well. We've been losing to some Eastern teams. It'd be nice. We need this one. And aside from that, how good would it feel to just win in Beantown, right? Just going in there and winning in Beantown and getting it done, and then symbolizing 500 record back to 8th seed. That'd be lit. Juju, Julius must play with the same energy. Absolutely facts, straight facts. Julius must play with the same energy. I think he is. He's fired up with what's going on right now. I don't know what it was earlier in this season, but I always knew Julius was capable of playing much better. He's a mental kind of player. When he's invested, he's invested. When he's really into it, maybe he just needed a challenge. Like I said, it's hard to top being a most improved NBA All-Star for the first time, All-NBA for the first time, all of that happens in one season. It's like you're at the top of the mountain almost. So where else is there left to go? Either up or down again. And sometimes a player just needs ultra motivation. His motivation last season was having a bad season before that. So he came into the gym early. He met up with Tibbs. They put out a plan of getting in shape, getting his game right, being a leader, and it carried to fruition. But now, after last season, it was sort of a come down in a way. Like, what else is there to do? I took a discount. The front office gave me Fournier. They gave me Kemba. Those guys didn't, fully shout me out, embrace me in the press conference. Sometimes it's all about chemistry and fit, like the chat been saying tonight. We only see, gentlemen on the court passing the ball, shooting the ball. We don't see the chemistry in the locker room, how guys like each other, feel each other out, all of those things, right? It's like getting a whole new colleagues at work, having to develop, more relationship, more familiarity with them as well. So, typically I felt like the team would find would start to gel more in the second half of the season. Just being around each other, playing more games helps as well. So I think we're definitely going to play one safe bet I have is that we're going to play better ball in this second half of the year. I think that chemistry will get better. It helps to go through some lumps, some losses, bad losses early in the season. That can help you, build character, can help you build more, resentment towards losing. You hate that losing feeling. Sometimes you just, your back's against the wall and you want to get it done. But the New York Knicks obviously had a lot of film. They've had some sessions now, not as much practice, but on-court experience. And I do trust the veteran coach like Thibodeau to get the best out of this team, whatever that best is, wherever high we can finish. I think we'll strive to try to get the best out of everyone. And hopefully they make a few nice trades like the Derrick Rose trade, good for chemistry, good for talent, all of that. Someone who can just slot in and seamlessly fit in, help out, complement the other pieces. I said earlier in response to the question, Quentin Grimes will be the surprise player the second half of the season, I think, just because he'll play more, I think. He's just going to showcase a lot more. Look for him to have another huge three-point shooting night, hopefully another 8-10 threes in one night like Fournier had. And then the streets will definitely be buzzing. Chris M, definitely Quentin Grimes. I also want to see Deuce McBride obviously get some more minutes. I think Deuce McBride will feel more comfortable, as the season goes along. I don't really know where his minutes are going to come from right yet. It's going to be interesting, especially before Derrick Rose comes back. I would think this is Deuce's best chance to solidify a rotation spot. Deuce didn't play the other night. We know he had a few mediocre games, still finding his way when Julius and everyone was out with protocols. That was after the great game against Houston. Deuce McBride, he needs reps. I wouldn't be surprised to see Deuce go to the G League again, like they did. Looks like they want to use the G League a bit more. To help develop some of these players, continue to get them reps. If D Rose is out for 4 more weeks, Deuce definitely needs to try to get some minutes now. It's going to be really interesting about Kemba, everyone as well, ladies and gents. Kemba Walker is day to day. No structural issue with his knee. So Kemba Walker, he might play tomorrow night. He might just come in, plays well against Boston in Boston like he did last time. Kemba Walker gets juiced up, prove his team wrong. But I think the issue with Kemba right now is his health, his consistency. Can he play more often than not? If he has a great burst out performance, what good's that? If then he has to sit the next night, it's going to be a la having Kyrie Irving that can only play in an away game. That's all good and well when they're talented, but what does that do for winning consistently and chemistry when a player's coming in, balling out, and then having to sit again? So those knees are a concern. I hope they can manage the situation and Kemba's knees are okay. He can help this team. You know, it's just a roller coaster at the moment. You know, first I thought, okay, Kemba's not working. It's going to be a trade. Then he comes back and he balls out. You know, sets the world alight. Then he goes back out again with knee injuries. So I can't even predict what's going to happen next because I don't even think he's going to have any trade value, unfortunately, either. So even if he comes out and he balls out or he gets injured again, I don't think we're going to be able to even trade Kemba. No team is probably going to give up any substantial asset outside of a second round pick for Kemba Walker because, you know, a player that, you know, they might just think, well, you know, is buyout worthy. You know, he was bought out by OKC, and, you know, they're not sure about his knees as well. So if you're a contender trying to solidify you know, a piece, you're going to look for a player that can play good minutes, I think, and play good minutes. And Kemba Walker, D Rose, you know, unfortunately, health is going to play a big part in this season for us, which is another reason why Deuce McBride, Quentin Grimes, these guys need to play some minutes now because I think we're going to rely on them a lot more this season and in the future, right? You know, Deuce McBride, you know, with these older point guards, we're not going to, you know, we're not going to, you know, go as far as we need, right? With shaky point guard play and also health. And Vaughn, appreciate it. Derrick Rose starts rehab soon. I think he was the key for us last season, and he, I believe, will bring this team to get this thing together for us in terms of leadership. Yep, absolutely. Yeah, straight facts. I appreciate that. Derrick Rose, like I've been saying, yeah, he was the acquisition of last season. No matter what anyone says around the league, no other player changed the team's fortunes as much as Derrick Rose changed our fortunes last season. His game is like no one else's. The way he could get to the cup, his 3-point shooting improved tremendously. D Rose, you know, it's unfathomable how much game he still has left at 33. You know, after what everyone thought he was going to retire and all of that. And yeah, I agree with you. He's a big part of this. The ankle things are tricky, right? Ankle injuries, they can linger. I know they're going to take as much time as they need with D Rose. And I think we've got the horses to recover, you know, while he's out. And you're right. You know, if we're doing well, if we're at 500 or even better when he comes back, he's just going to be that gas that just sets us alight. And I think gets us going as well. It's going to be like a brand new trade or a brand new, you know, acquisition that like no other team's getting. Because him next to Quickly and Obi, there's no doubt that they make that second unit just a handful. You know, the best second unit in the league right now in terms of changing games, changing momentum, being able to put points quickly, 10 points on a team in the blink of an eye, right? You know, sometimes there's games where we're down 8 points, the bench comes in and in 3 minutes later, we're in the lead because these guys can just get on a run. And yeah, I agree with you. I think D Rose, he's definitely going to help bring this thing together in terms of leadership, and that health is the main question. I hope D Rose can get healthy. And I salute 007 Angelo. I got to say that opening beat to the show is pure. I appreciate that. Hook sounds, it's lit. Try to mix it up when I can, but yeah, thanks. Appreciate that. Yeah, in terms of the New York Knicks, what other news has come through? Obviously, our league protocols. What do you guys feel about this season? To be honest, so far, this season has just been unlike anything other. You know, the first COVID interrupted season, like, you know, the season got cut short and then there was the bubble. Then there was last season, obviously some protocols, but I guess we weren't affected much. This season's been like crazy, you know, players in and out every single day. I just hope there's more consistency. We probably haven't seen as many trades go down compared to what we would have if players were healthy, right? We would have seen movement. It's been December 15 that free agents were tradable, and we haven't seen anything go down outside of the Rajon Rondo deal, right? So it's been crazy. I think there would have been way more trades, you know, and I think basically that we will see some trades if they get a hold of the COVID situation. You know, we get a hold of it, and we take a break for a week or two, take stock, and then we could see some more moves. Yeah, because it's going to be insane. They appreciate it, Vaughn. Appreciate you. Let's go. Yep, tomorrow, give us your prediction. Guys, throw out your predictions out there. What do you think is going to happen tomorrow? Do you think we can get back to home and sweep, or not sweep, but win the season series against Boston? It's going to be intense. I'm looking forward to the game. Like I said, I went on record to say it's going to be close. I think within 5 points, I think we can get it done, but it's definitely going to be a really, really tight one. The New York Knicks, or any NBA team winning that home and home is going to be tough. But the way we won in New York, the way we won on a buzzer beater, just the look on Jason Tatum's face, to me, that was one of the most satisfying things, because Jason Tatum thought he's the man. He thought, man, I'm lighting up the Garden. I scored. I got us back to equal, get us back to overtime. And when that banker went in, and see Jason Tatum's head just sink, that was a beautiful sight to see. Finally our young star, is up against the likes of the best stars in the game, and putting the game winner on their head. Right, that was beautiful. And by the way, RJ Barrett got fouled on that. It makes you wonder if he had missed the shot, would the refs have had the kahunas to call a foul on that? You know what I mean? Because I don't know if you can challenge. You need to call a timeout to make a challenge, right? Can you make a challenge when the game's over and challenge that final play? Because I don't know if you can, and I don't think they would have called the foul on that one either. Yeah, Knicks 100. Notice RJ hit the same shot Tatum hit on RJ last year to win the game. Yeah, that's right. It was reminiscent, right? It was very reminiscent. And to be honest, what made it more impressive was RJ falling away to his non-preferred side as well, falling away to his non-preferred side. So apparently Deuce said he practices that, which you love to see. Then, hey, you got to continue to play. I must admit, I wasn't hopeful with 1.5 seconds to go, and RJ, it looked like we couldn't get the ball in bounds, and then they just had to go with the RJ option. RJ dribbled to the side, 1 second to go, pulled up the heave. What was going through your mind at that point? My mind was like, oh, here we go, just another heave to get to overtime. Then when I saw it go further and further, it looked like it was really on the money. And then the rest is history. Hit the glass straight in, went crazy. I was at work, looking at the phone, watching that final play. And it was just, we all deserve that, RJ deserves that. We do, fans. It was just good to have that moment. And I hope for many, many more to come. Young talent like that. He's had his fair share of last minute shots. He missed a layup against Miami last season, I think. He's had some chances as well. And that's why I think, it's going to be great for RJ's development as well for this season and beyond, to have that chance to continue to take those important shots, be in the game when it matters, big national TV game against a long-time rival, all of that, man. RJ Barrett, stand up. It was a classic Knicks moment. The photos are great. Let's hope we see some more. We saw a Julius Randle buzzer beater against Washington in the preseason. That was a crazy lit game. We came from behind. Julius got his first buzzer beater with us. That was great to see. RJ's had a buzzer beater. Who else is going to get a buzzer beater this season? Mitchell Robinson, a tip-in lob dunk, maybe. Emmanuel Quickley, logo shot, maybe. Let's hope. But the New York Knicks do face Boston tomorrow. Been a great chat show. Appreciate you all throwing your questions and everything out there. Ready to pack it up for this evening. We'll be back on tomorrow. Knicks Real Talk, streets are buzzing. Look out for the notifications. Next week, got some great content dropping as well. Hit the notifications. You'll be the first to get the content as well. Appreciate the energy. New York Knicks, orange and blue skies. Let's get it. Peace. See you on the next one.